Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight I have a very special show. I have Sharon DeCarlo, you're the publisher, editor, and owner of Horse Tales.
Yes, I am.
And I'll tell you, when I read do you call it a magazine or a newspaper? What's your...
Horseman's Newspaper.
Horseman's Newspaper. When I read it, I tend to flash back. I don't know what it is. I read it cover to cover, which I don't do for most things I read. And I read even the commercials and advertisements, I read that too. But there's something about it, maybe it's horses, that brings back memories from when I was a kid all the way up to present day. So there's something about horses in our lives that are really magical, and they share our pain, they share our love, they share everything. And you've been doing this for 29 years.
Yep, March 2015 will be 30.
Wow, that's amazing. And how did you get started doing this? Were you just had the passion and...
Well, basically, I was into horses as a business, and that was lucrative for a while. And then, of course, as the economy goes, so does the part of being lucrative in the horse business. It goes up and down, too. And so I was wanting to do something in the horse world. I wanted to do what I knew, and I'd always liked to write. And I always loved taking photos of horses and Western events and just anything to do with the West. So I started thinking that we didn't have anything in this area that subscribed to that. That we could put events, horse events, and talk about kids and their horses and what they were doing with their horses, brag a little bit about their accomplishments with horses. And I knew there was a lot of horsemen in the area because, of course, I was one of them. So I started thinking that it would be a great idea, and I actually was working at D-Bar M Western Store part-time, and a lady that started D-Bar M, Elaine Smith, who has now passed, we talked about it, and she said, Sharon, you should start a horseman's newspaper, and you should call it Horse Tales. And
she even named it for you.
And she was just a wonderful inspiration. I've never forgotten that, and I've always attributed Horse Tales' birth to her, because she was the one who encouraged me, told me what she thought should be in the paper.
Oh.
She's a horseman as well, and of course both of her children went on to be great horsemen themselves. And so that's where the idea started.
Well, the idea started, but also you had to have some writing ability from either college or high school, because you have some good stories. Your articles are clear, concise, and you do a lot of them yourself.
I do, and I love to write. And when I was born and raised in San Francisco, and I ended up going to San Francisco State for a couple of years and majoring in photography. I wanted to be a photographer originally.
A lot of fun there.
Yeah, and then a family and 2 children sidelined that a bit, but not the horses and not the writing. I was writing stories for other magazines from time to time, and I enjoy writing, and I guess it was, I've never had any formal training in it, but that's basically, it was a love of communication for me.
A lot of times in anything, it's actually doing it.
Yes.
People always have this thing, you have to have all these trainings, but if you actually just go out and do something, and the more you hone your skills, I guess a good example would be our future, we're going to talk about Will James later, but he just did it because he loved it, and all of a sudden people said, hey, you're actually an artist.
Right.
Said, oh yeah, yes I am.
Yes.
But look at the things here. This is the November paper, but when you pick up her paper, and it's all over the place, and here it's at the Copeland Arts Center. But I just picked up this edition. No, which one is this? Where's the new one?
You have the new one on top there.
Oh, okay.
That's the new one.
Feature articles, and I haven't even read this. There's Robin Travis, her pictures. I've had hers before, and then you talk about Robin Travis, photographer. Then you get in Horse, of course, and Prep Your Horse, BLM News. That's a big stuff. And then Pine Nuts, Wild Horse Advocates. Then you got trivia, and I always like your trivia. Mm-hmm. And then I always like your recipes. I know it's probably in here. I haven't read it yet. And then you always have about people, and you really get into emotional level with the people. And you have an article, poetry.
Yes, cowboy poetry with Richard Smith, who's a well-known published cowboy poet right here in the Carson Valley.
They always make me laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you had an article in last month's paper with Kim Chappelle talking about the passing of Bo.
Yes.
And that doesn't make you tear up, then you don't have a heart, because one of the things I like in my life is young people to kind of get involved. I don't care what it is, but if it's with horses, and then this was a student that fell in love with Bo,
Right.
and if you kind of got into her shoes, and then she made Bo happy, and they kind of adopted each other, and then it was time for Bo to go because he was aged out, and I remember it brought me back to the past when I lost my first horse.
Yes.
And it's a very emotional experience. So when you read that, you go to a place, and if you had horses in your past, you go to your past and you kind of relive it. But you get some really good contributors.
I can't tell you in particular about how grateful I am that Kim Chappelle writes for Horsedales. She is so involved with her students. She's such a caring person, and she does wonderful work at her ranch with the kids, and that ends up in Horsetales from time to time. And I really get a lot of comments and a lot of accolades towards her writing, and people really enjoy it. And she has just, she's blossomed as a writer as well.
And it shows, and then because if you get your emotional heartstrings, that's a big deal. But as a kid, I was lucky enough for my family took us horseback riding all the time. And it became very easy. It was just fun. It was just a natural thought process. We went on vacation and go horseback riding.
Right.
And I think even as young, maybe 8, we went up a mountain in Colorado. And that was kind of extreme, but it was so more than just a trail. It was a mountain.
A memory that never leaves you.
No, it's still there. Like, Mr. wore more warmer clothes for one.
Yes.
But and then I came down. I remember I wanted to gallop, and the cowboys were a little tired. They didn't want me to gallop, but they did hit my horse and made it go crazy, and that wasn't very much fun. So, don't bug the cowboys when you're at the end of the trail.
No.
I learned that. They're done with the kids today. So, but the things you learn, and you guys put them in a good spirit. And I like the article you wrote about the race horses.
Yes, that's actually, I haven't covered racehorses nearly as much as I'd like to. That industry is very big in our country, and there's a lot of ups and downs in it, and a lot of emotion in it. And recently, we have right here in the Carson Valley 2 racehorse owners who have done very well, as everyone knows. And I just wanted to let folks know that this is a passion with both of the gentlemen that own these racehorses, and I just thought it would be great to a great story, and it was. I've gotten a lot of feedback on it, a lot of positive feedback. So yeah, I'm glad that they have brought racehorses to the valley, and the interest has really gone up, and people are starting to watch horse races more than they ever did before. And the racehorse industry is in somewhat trouble in a way because it has fallen off as far as spectatorship goes. But I think this last year, with everything that happened with California Chrome,
Yes.
really raised the interest and piqued the interest, and to know that all of it really goes back to folks that live right here in our valley. And Mr. Pegram is a wonderful example of someone who loves his horses and treats them with great dignity and care. And we've heard stories about racehorse owners and trainers and all of that aren't so positive, but Mike Pegram really brings it home and talks about it in reality. And I like interviewing him. He's a marvelous individual.
Well, I liked what he was saying. That I think he pulled a horse out of one of the major races because they had a bruise, and he just wanted to make sure. And that's just being the horses came first in his mind.
He does.
And when you do things like that, it comes back to help you tenfold.
Yes, it does.
And when I was a young man, I used to live in Chicago by Sportsman's Park, and it was harness racing. But we would go there all the time. But it got so much fun. We actually took college classes on handicapping. Everybody came early.
Yes.
Everyone stayed late, and then the class was going to the track and having fun. But I remember my favorite horse was Marengo Rick. It always came in for me. It always came in. But my friend's sister was one of the persons who got the urine samples, and she said that those horses get taken care of a lot better than the images are out there.
Right.
And I knew at a very young age that there are a lot, because that's their livelihood too.
But just like everything, we always hear the negative, but there's a lot of positive too.
Well, that's their babies, and if they can't
They take care of
eventually
them.
sell the horse, then like Mr. Pilgrim said, that's, sometimes you turn over the horses, but you got to be able to sell them or you're out of business.
Right.
So you're gonna,
You do.
you're gonna take care of your goods.
You do, and you have to find homes for them, good homes for them, and they're good horses. Just because maybe they're not the fastest horse doesn't mean they don't deserve a good home.
Well, no, that's
Yeah.
that's even better because
Yeah.
Bo probably was an older horse and then found a place that Kim Chappelle's and they had kids to take care of and things like
Right.
that. And like I said, it just plants the seeds for these memories that I had from when I was a young person. And as I get older, everything I read was more. Even as far as your recipes, I felt like I was an old wagon train. I don't know if you get recipes on purpose like that, but
I do. Yeah, I
It was
try to
like-
find them. Yeah.
because that's the way I kind of grew up in the country. We kind of had a lot of people we'd feed and a lot of farmers. And so I don't,
Yeah, chuck wagon cooking actually is a big event in Texas. They have yearly chuck wagon cook-offs, and they're starting to take off all over the United States and all over the West. And it all stems from recipes that were wagon train bound with the pioneers and the cowboys. So yeah, it's another part of the West that someone is keeping alive. That's
well,
great.
I remember the big old iron skillets and all the cooking, and it's just it's a good thing. Well, we're going to take a break soon. I'm going to set it up. I sent one of the photographers from Nevada Trails to the Salmon Fest, and she got sidetracked by bears, and she ended up shooting a bear rather than the fish. But this is a black bear, close and personal, and I think you'll just enjoy seeing it. But I don't recommend being this close to bears. You should probably let them have their fish and give them some space. But here's our black bear on Nevada Trails, and enjoy. Thank you.
Because if there was lots of gravity, it's been faster.
Hi, we're back with Sharon DeCarlo of Horse Tales, and before we get any farther, I forgot to ask you your contact information to get it out there so people can contact you about prospective articles or getting your newspaper or advertising.
Well, basically, I operate on the email, just like everyone else, but you can also write me. My email is horsetalesLTD@AOL.com, and you have to spell tales Tales. People just inadvertently always spell it wrong and spell it the Tails kind, and it's not, that won't get you there. And then the other thing you can do is you can just mail me any of your information, your articles, your interest in advertising, whatever, to 1444 Glenwood Drive, Gardnerville, Nevada, 89460. And my phone number at the office is 775-265-7137.
Excellent. And we had talked previously about talking about Will James Society.
Yes.
Did you want to kind of give some background on Will?
Well, my passion, besides horsetails and horses, is Will James and his books. He wrote 34 wonderful Western cowboy books. Many of them were written right here in Washoe Valley at his cabin up on Franktown Road. Still exists and still stands. But the Will James Society actually is in Elko, Nevada now. That's its home base. And currently we are in the midst of raising $29,000 to buy every Will James book that Mountain Press has in its inventory to gift to schools, libraries. We send them overseas to our military. And we also put them in senior citizen homes. If anybody that wants them can apply. We put them in hospitals, libraries. School libraries is our main goal. We would love to get the books back in front of the kids because they're wonderful, wonderful kid books. And for a long time, Will James books were not being published, and now they are. And like I said, I think Will James Society that I belong to is really responsible for the effort of getting those books back out in front of the youth. He was also a wonderful artist, and I want to call attention to the fact that in Elko at the museum there, the Eastern Museum in Elko, Nevada, they have a beautiful display of his original art, and under glass cover they have probably 30 books of his first edition books signed by Will James. So it's a wonderful exhibit. If ever you're in Elko, please go see those 80 pieces of Will James original art. They're amazing. On September 19th, 2015, at our very own Dangberg Ranch here off of Highway 88, we're going to hold a Will James fundraiser. And that fundraiser the proceeds will all go to buying Will James books and gifting them to all the schools that want them, that apply for them. It's going to be an educational event. So far, the things we have in place are workshops for kids and adults as well. And it's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to end in the afternoon with a wonderful Western cowboy concert. Lacey J. Dalton is going to come and sing. All Hat, No Cattle is going to be there. Harold Miller is going to be there. He's one of our local poets, and he's a wonderful comedian, I think, as well. And so anyway, that's the lineup. We would love to have every school participate and bring the kids over. We're going to have a local buckaroo come in and teach the kids how to throw a rope. We're going to have pony rides and horseback rides. We're going to have the Pony Express has just volunteered to come in
Awesome.
and do a workshop on the Pony Express and how it works. We're going to bring horses in and show gear and tack and have a speaker. Kim Coppell is going to be there. She's volunteered this week to make sure that they put on a workshop for us. We're going to have Indian tacos during the day, and later in the afternoon we're going to have chuck wagon cooking. So there'll be plenty to eat, plenty to see, plenty to do. Sarah Sweetwater from Elko is going to come in and teach kids how to draw cowboys and horses, and then we're looking for someone to come in and help us with the kids writing. And there is going to be a contest it's going to go out to all the schools. We're going to have an art contest. The kids can exhibit their art at this function as well, whether they win the art contest or not. All of the art will be exhibited at this event. So it's a wonderful event. I'm so proud to be a part of it and be putting it together. We need suggestions and help. Please don't hesitate to call me, 775-265-7137, and tell me you're interested in helping with the Will James event. We're partnering with the Dangberg Ranch. Mark Jensen over there at Dangberg Ranch has been wonderful, and he's looking forward to this event as well. So please put it on your calendar, because I think it's going to be the event of the year around here. I really do.
I was going to say, I think you have the event absolutely perfect. At this point, it just sounds like you need some good volunteers.
Yep, we do.
You got. I mean, you got the package. You got all the people I enjoy: Kim Coppell, Lacey J, Del Ponier, Krista Jenkins. I mean, everybody I really enjoy. You have it there, so that's awesome. And then the Danberg Ranch, that place just draws people from all over the country here. So it's the more we promote it, the more we get more tourists, and that helps everybody. So it's awesome. And we're proud of you.
And the kids this is an event for children. We hope it fun and educational, and raises awareness about Will James and the books that he wrote back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and still apply to today.
What age group would you say the kids should start for reading this book?
Well, it was really funny because Scribner, who was Will James' publisher, asked him to write for different age groups. So there are books for elementary, and there are books for high school age kids. So there was 34 of them. So that's what we do. We gift according to the age groups.
You've given me some stuff in the past, and it was almost like Highlight magazine. You had things for like 3 to 6, 9 to 12. I'm thinking, these 3 to 6-year-olds are pretty smart. But he was doing it like he was really an education person.
Right, he was, and he just wanted to. He talks about his experiences as a cowboy, and with animals. He was a big animal lover, and he absolutely. In one book, he actually said that it was a shame that humans decided that horses were animals because he thought they were above that.
Well, they are.
he felt like they were above the animal kingdom, that they were spiritually part of our human endeavor on every level, and that they were actually could be credited for us even being on this continent.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, I remember when I first moved here, I had a brain injury, and I'd been treated in Michigan, but they got kind of tired of taking care of me. I'm not sure how to say it, but they've done their duty.
Yeah.
So they shipped me to my dad's at the ranch, and they had just got 2 rescue horses. But when they got the rescue horses, they kind of let them be them by themselves. They didn't really kind of give them any care or talk to them or anything. Well, I was kind of ignored too. I was kind of like a rescue kid.
Yeah.
So we all kind of I spent time, and the horses kind of, I don't know, we ended up somehow bonding. I didn't even have a name for them or anything. And then what my stepmom used to do, she'd challenge people to ride them, and they would hurt them, actually. The horses would hurt them. One lady broke her collarbone. And then, but I was feeding them, and I was brushing them, and I was taking care of them, and they didn't know I was bonding with them. I was feeding them too. Well, they did a challenge match like she did, and the sheriff was on the horse, and he was like, "I can't do this horse. It's too crazy." He was backing up and bucking. So I just said, "Can I get on the horse? And she said, perfect. She wanted me to get hurt bad. I got on and rode away.
You go.
I never rode out the horse before. But I already knew that horse
Because
would
you put your time in with that horse and those horses and that.
we had already bonded.
Yep.
Just from making sure it was safe. But I already knew from its eye. And it was probably one of the coolest things I had ever experienced, this horse taking care of me.
Yes.
And we rode down the valley, and it was like, no one said a word when I came back.
And you took care of it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The horse remembers, the horse knows.
But they know, and we've talked about other groups that there's horses that take care of our military people coming back, and bringing them back into existence. And another experience I had was they exercise people that are disabled. Their muscles will exercise you if you're riding a horse.
That's right.
So they do so much stuff that people. We have to talk more about this in the future because we have 2 minutes left. But they are magical beings, and if you have a need to come out of an emotional drain or whatever you're in, go ride a horse.
I think God made a horse for humans.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Yeah, I think that we go together pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we're down a minute and a half. Go ahead and give out your contact information again.
Well, I would love to have new members for the Will James Society. We have a wonderful time. We have a wonderful mission. And if you join the Will James Society, it's $35 a year for a couple, and you will get a quarterly, which I do as well, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about Will James and what's going on with our book gifting program. We always put pictures of the kids at the schools receiving the books and where we gifted books, all of the above. So please go to www.willjames.org or call me, like I said, at 775-265-7137.
And again, what's the exact date of the Danburg Ranch event?
September 19th, which is a Saturday, at the Danburg Ranch in Minden, Nevada.
I'd call right now and get your volunteer status up there too, because that's going to be one worth going. Well, Sharon, thank you for being on Nevada Trails.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an honor. Come to Copeland Arts Center and pick up her the horsetails. Tell you it's awesome and be part of it. It's great. Thank you very much. It's been Michael Smith for Nevada Trails.